Thank you very much for staying with us this evening. Our top focus, the ongoing battle between the Tamil Nadu government and Governor R.N. Ravi intensified over the petrol bomb attack at Raj Bhavan entrance on Wednesday. Now, a day after the BJP accused the government of being responsible for the attack, the DMK hit back at the BJP and blamed the governor's actions for the attack. The ruling DMK alleged that governor's actions caused law strife and the attacker too had personal grievances against the governor and downplayed the attack as actions of a mentally unstable man. Listen in.
What is the governor doing? He is going beyond his limits. He is violating constitution. He is a governor. He has to look into the affairs of the state. But he is talking like a cheap third-rate politician. I am attacking him because of his behavior. He doesn't know anything, but he wants to create commotion in the state. He wants to create political fight. So he is doing this. He is inviting this trouble. Let him behave as a governor, not as a third-rate politician.
Meanwhile, the BJP claimed the DMK is busy diverting attention of people to insignificant matters. Criminals have taken to the streets.
This is the DMK government failure. DMK Chief Minister Stalin himself is having the police department. How one guy is coming and throwing the petrol bomb is not at all what I'm demanding. Who is behind him? The government has come forward a fair investigation, or CBI has to take out, or NI has to take out. Who is behind to him? I think somebody is behind to him. Particularly DMK might be behind, or DMK people might be behind. A thorough investigation has to be taken because of the constitutional authority. He don't have the safety, and he is not fairly, he is unable to perform his duty.
Now, amidst all the drama, Raj Bhavan has issued a fresh statement and slammed Tamil Nadu cops for not even registering a complaint, and the probe was killed even before it began. Now, Raj Bhavan further claimed that suo moto diluted the attack as an act of simple vandalism, and the accused was arrested and sent to remand quickly, which prevented detailed interrogation that could expose those behind the attack. But to further understand this development, and being joined in by my guests this evening, let me take this opportunity to introduce them. Uma Anandan, BJP Councillor, Syam Prasad Meka, political analyst, and Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist. Good evening, all of you. Thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Uma, let me begin with you. What does the BJP make of this?
First, I think DMK has to answer for the failure of the law and order situation and deteriorating law and order situation. If the governor house can be, for the governor's residence can be attacked like this, you can imagine the plight of common man. And what are the excuses that they are giving? Three things the Chief Minister has to answer. First, they are telling in a hurry that he is a mentally ill patient. Now, that person, how does he know only Raj Bhavan? How are bombs thrown only at the governor's residence, only at the BJP office? Why that mentally challenged ill person doesn't know the residence of Anna DMK office or address of DMK office or anything? He only knows this, and he has just come out of jail. And he has been associated with a lot of ill ideological people inside the jail. That is another question mark. Who are the people behind him? One has to answer. And second, I would like to answer, why is there a hurry in nabbing the person and coming out? Now you say another person has also been involved in this. And does it not demand that the Chief Minister or the top police personnel visit the governor and talk to him? Otherwise, about 6 months back, when there was a death in Mr. Stalin's wife's family, you had the top police personnel sitting there in that residence, in Mrs. Durga Stalin's sister's residence. Was there a need for that? I think they should prioritize their duties, their responsibilities towards the job that they have taken, and be fair to the uniform that they are wearing. Well, I want to know, why is this mentally ill patient targeting only these people, and why are they in a hurry to nab him as a mentally ill patient. Who has given the certificate? The law minister comes out. Was he being tested by any doctors, MD, psychiatrist? Have anybody tested him? And why are they in a hurry like the Coimbatore blast case to hush things? A lot of things are being buried under the carpet. That is how it looks, and the Chief Minister definitely has to answer for the deteriorating law and order situation. If he says the governor has invited, that is icing on the cake. They say the governor has invited this. Then half the population, 90% of the population of Tamil Nadu should be in front of the Chief Minister's house, in front of the Minister's house for all the wrong things that are going on in the state. How can they accuse the governor of all these things? And they say he is illiterate. They are not able to digest the true, honest version. And the governor is a learned man, a constitutional authority. He is not a school dropout like their Dravidar Kazhagam members. They should have some responsibility in pointing their fingers at the
Okay,
government.
Uma, I'd have to interject you there, but essentially you're stating that it is a failure of law and order in Tamil Nadu, and essentially also going on to question why this case has been hurried in the way that it has. Shyam Prasad, let me come to you as far as this is concerned. Number one, how do you view this? And with the fact that, even Uma has pointed out that, which, of course, Annamalai was also stating that the recurrence of such episodes also, point out the situation of law and order in the state?
See, one thing, there are two things that needs to be first focused on. One is, how did the security breach happen? How was a normal person is able to access the governor's bungalow so that he can throw a petrol bomb, right? That's one. Second, if there is a conspiracy behind it, that needs to be investigated. Is the culprit quickly brought to book? Yes, it seems so. Then why we need to create a political ruckus and continue to do the washing of political line and using every issue? I think that is unnecessary. I don't think we need to get into a political debate on this. As far as this is an issue that should be investigated, and if there are any lackings in the investigation that is being conducted, obviously that can be raised so that governor is governor for everybody in Tamil Nadu, right? So it's not a DMK governor or BJP governor. It's a governor of Tamil Nadu. I think that's about the issue. Why we are bringing in a lot of politics into it is beyond me to understand.
Okay, Mr. Meka, as you make those, opening remarks, let me get in Madhavan Narayanan as well on this. Madhavan, this is not the first time that we're seeing the Tamil Nadu governor or the government at loggerheads. But in your perspective, what do you really make of the situation? Because Shyam Prasad says it shouldn't be made into a political aspect.
I think, Nivedha, the important thing is that we are living in very strange times where everything is being not just politicized, but is not being done in proper proportion. And I believe that the media and the civil service both have a responsibility to bring to the general public the real proportion or nature of this issue, because the noise levels are so high in Indian politics today. We are a nation of 140 crore people, and we have to measure everything precisely. How much media time we should allocate to a story like this? What is the role of the police? What kind of investigations are needed? Let me tell you two things. One is, I just heard, this afternoon, I heard a minister of Mr. Stalin's government precisely say out things which sounded reasonable to me. He says that investigations are on. We will identify whether there is a person is a lone ranger attacking with a mental disability, or there is a political plan. The second thing he said was that if necessary, the governor will be provided with adequate or additional security, which seemed reasonable to me. But the real issue right now is that if Tamil Nadu police gets into this, there is a trust deficit because police reports to the Chief Minister's office. So there will be another round of politicization. If CBI comes into this, then the central government, because it's under the BJP, there will be another round of politicization. And it's a petrol bomb, which can be done in any backyard. So to that extent, we also, from a point of view of investigating this issue, we have to follow a process. We have to follow a precision. And then we have to do it with a sense of priority on how big this is, how it is not. So what we need to understand is that we should not be giving too much attention and become the force multipliers for disproportionate, shrillness associated with everything. Today, a governor goes to a temple, there is noise. And I've been looking at what is happening elsewhere in the country. The effigies of Udayanidhi Stalin and MK Stalin have been burnt in UP or in the name that they criticize Sanatan Dharma. Now, suppose we look at it as a potential act of violence against the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu or Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, then a police case can be registered there as well. So there's a lot of political showmanship, as I call it, from both BJP and DMK on this.
Okay.
And it has come to a point, there is no point in measuring action and reaction in this. Because there is always, for the media, there's a huge challenge because these people are increasingly trying to tell us what we should be doing, whereas actually it should be the other way around. That's how constitution and democracy function in a mature country. And therefore, we need to have this independently investigated. If necessary, there should be an independent probe by a retired judge or something. That is a via media. Otherwise, there's so much of a trust deficit. Let us also not forget that crimes of various kinds against women are happening of a much more serious nature. And therefore, we should give more importance to social violence than political allegations of stray nature. Of course, if this was, let's say, if this was not a petrol or a bomb, but if there was a regular gun attack, then I would be talking in a different language. That is precisely how this should be done. There should be a sense of proportion, priority, and process, the 3 Ps as I call it. And I hope the police also, today we are now living in an age where CBI and Enforcement Directorate are accused of, income tax authorities are accused of being politicized. So it's only natural, no prices for guessing that the police will also be accused of being politicized. And therefore, are we going to be an institutional democracy in which there are educated people and urban people knowing the facts, or is it all going to be noise and imagery? Now, that is what I'm seriously worried about, because one-off incidents are there. Coming to the constitutional issues, yes, we need a serious debate on what is constitutional, what is not. This country runs on the Constitution. Sanatan Dharma is a subjective idea which is non-quantifiable. Debates are on, which is part of a healthy democracy. But let us remember that when you're in trouble, when there is trouble, there should be, or when there is doubt, there should be a reference to the Constitution, and there's a reference to the process of law, particularly the independence of institutions or the autonomy of institutions, whether it is the police, whether it is the CBI, or whether it's the media. There has been a deinstitutionalization of this democracy. That is a more serious worry at the back. As far as the governor's office is concerned, it has been controversial since the 1980s. And Mr. Ravi, of course, is very fond of imagining himself to be more like a viceregal governor, because I've been observing his speeches for the past 1 year or so. He's overstepping the constitutional definition of a governor, but that has to be taken on politically, which DMK is doing. But let us not, let us ensure it doesn't descend to violence, whether it is a burning of an effigy of Udayanidhi Stalin, whether it's a petrol bomb attack on the governor. We need to have a middle ground on this. And I think it's increasingly important for both the judiciary and the media to take note of this.
Madhavan, as you pointed out and you've analyzed that in your perspective, a quick follow-up question would be about these statements that are being made, right? BJP's Annamalai also took to a social media platform saying that this continuous attack only leaves one to think that the DMK government is sponsoring these attacks.
I think we need to establish, that this is a very good question, Nivedhana, because the point is allegations and accusations are flying left, right, and center in India today. We need to establish whether there is any prima facie ground. Mr. Annamalai needs to be asked, what is your ground for saying this apart from a political background and conjecture? I've been seeing Mr. Annamalai speak all the time. He never takes questions, and the Tamil Nadu media is also running after him. I'm sorry to say this, but we need to pinpoint questions. We need to pinpoint questions and ask, why are you saying this, Mr. Annamalai? Can you give a written statement on what made you say this? And that written statement should be held to investigation, and a proper pronouncement should be made. And whose job is this? It's a very good question, because nobody is talking in objective, neutral language anymore. Have we, what right do we have to call ourselves a great civilization if lesser minds are allowed louder voices? This is what I'm asking. I think we need to I'm seriously worried, not so much about one incident as the standard of our civilizational democracy.
So basically, on the larger aspect of it, Uma, would you want to come in and counter that? Because basically it is seeming like right now it's a mountain for molehill. Yeah, Uma, I do see you raise your hand. You can come in and counter that.
Yeah. One is, it's very nice of Mr. Madhana, that gentleman, to sermonize. It's very nice to sit out. I think he's outside Tamil Nadu, if I'm not mistaken. Second, that he does not know the history of Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK. Perhaps I would like to give him a few books for him to go through the stages that the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam has grown and what is their foundation, everything. Perhaps he will then change his system if he has an open mind to read about it.
Yeah,
and third, how does he then corroborate about the DMK leaders coming and telling the governor invited this? Is that right? And this is not the first time that the governor is being attacked. Even when he was on a tour, he was attacked everywhere. And the governor has the right to speak the truth. Just because he is the governor, do they want him to say yes sir to the DMK chief minister? That is what has been happening all these years. Let's put an end to all this yes sir, 3 bags full.
I think.
All right, Uma, as you make those pertaining remarks,
I think we need to learn some truth,
all right,
some hard truths.
do go ahead.
We need to learn some hard truths here.
I think, may I step in here? Nivedhana, I'm very worried because the Supreme Court of
Sure,
India.
Madhavan. And Shyam, I'm going to come back to you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, Madhavan, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
go ahead,
Madhavan, go ahead. Madhavan, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mr. Madhavan.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say that, outsiders is a respective, I can engage in a Tamil discussion with Ms. Uma on this, and I suspect my Tamil would be a lot better than hers. I also want to say the Supreme Court of India also sits in Delhi. Are we going to be subject to personal attacks on this? I need not be on this program if I'm not a credible voice. I shouldn't be wasting my time. It's very important that we understand that credibility comes not from physical distance, but from the ability to understand things by observing public statements. I watch TV, I read newspapers, I follow the developments. I understand. I have been to the Nagpur headquarters of the RSS personally. I've been personally.
That's a problem. You need to be here to experience the truth.
I have covered politics on the ground. I have covered Tamil Nadu elections.
Uma, I don't think we have space for personal jibes like what Madhavan did state, that at the end of the day it is credibility rather than sweeping statements, right? Madhavan, I don't mean to interject you there, but let me get Shyam Prasad into the debate as well, because I want him to make a point as we're also running out of time. Uma and Madhavan, just give me a couple of minutes. Shyam Prasad Meka, you wanted to make a comment earlier about what has really transpired as far as how the BJP also sees this.
See, Nivedhana, I think, let me make it very clear. I fully agree with the line of argument that Mr. Madhavan is making. Okay, that is the general commentary on the sad state of political discourse that is happening in this country, which is a much bigger danger than any party or any particular government not delivering to expectations. That is okay. That can be corrected politically. But if we, as a society, as a democracy, if we bring down the level of political discourse to this level, then we should be worried about where we are going. And second, as Miss Uma was saying, oh, Governor, you should be an S-man. First of all, let us come to the basics. What is the role of the governor? Why are these governors becoming more boisterous nowadays? What is their role? Do we need to actually we need to raise a serious question on the institution of governor itself? What are they doing? Just occupying those luxurious bungalows?
Although this has
playing
been a
political
very
games?
interesting conversation with all three voices, I'm afraid we're running out of time on the show this evening. But thank you very much for taking the time out and
Thank
sharing with us your perspective. We leave the conversation at that. We're slipping into a short break here on News at 7. Lots more coming up on the other side. Stay with us.